The Hunger Games franchise will make its way to London's West End next year, with a stage play adaptation of the first book of Susan Collins' acclaimed trilogy. Published in 2008, the first book in the saga was a resounding success, something replicated by the sequels Catching Fire and Mockingjay 2 years later. The film adaptation was released, and the rest is history. Series like Divergent, The Fifth Wave, or Maze Runner tried to repeat the phenomenon, and although the story created by James Dashner came close, the impact of the Hunger Games was impossible to replicate. In large part, the success of the franchise rested on its protagonist. Katniss Everdeen became one of the most significant film heroines in history, and the possibility of playing her opened the doors for Jennifer Lawrence to become one of the most popular actresses in Hollywood. As fans prepare to learn more about the history of Panem with the release of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the next movie in the saga based on the prequel novel published in 2020, a new adaptation of the first book is in development. Deadline broke the news on Tuesday that award-winning playwright Conor McPherson is bringing The Hunger Games to London West End in 2024 by adapting the first installment in Collins' story to turn it into a stage play. McPherson recently worked on the film adaptation of Artemis Fowl for Disney+, and while his career in Hollywood is filled with great titles, he has always stood out in the world of theater, working in plays like This Lime Tree Bower, Poor Beast in the Rain, and Girl from the North Country. Here's the official statement from Susan Collins, expressing her excitement for her story being adapted once again. "I'm very excited to be collaborating with the amazing team of Conor McPherson and Matthew Dunster as they bring their dynamic and innovative interpretation of The Hunger Games to the London stage." When The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 premiered in 2015, fans began to speculate that the franchise would expand by focusing on characters like Finnick Odair and Hamish Abernathy, showing past editions of The Hunger Games with stories that would provide greater depth to the heroes of the main story. However, the author decided not only to delve into a key character within her story, such as President Coriolanus Snow, she also sought to contribute more about the mythology of Panem, the creation of the Hunger Games, and how the event changed in the 75 years it was celebrated. And while it might have been easier to explore the stories that audiences were asking for, or even for Lionsgate to announce a series adaptation of the same story, the decision to differentiate itself from the rest of the similar franchises could give The Hunger Games a great advantage. And although the stage play will be based on the first book, it is a type of adaptation that is different enough not to affect the results of the films and avoid comparisons.